Okay, so Terrot isn't starting very well. It looks like there's like in the carburetor, and it looks like it's quite rusty inside. So we're going to take the tank off and try some of this Evapo-Rust stuff. Evapo-Rust. We'll see how it works, and we'll have to leave it for a few days. Hopefully that'll cure the problem. We'll also have to clean the carb out, so we'll bring the carb with us, and we're going to put that into the ultrasonic cleaner. So tap's just there. I'm just going to undo the tap, put a length of pipe on it, empty it into a jerry can. Shouldn't be too much fuel in there, I hope, anyway. So I think there's a lot in there. Some, not a huge amount, there's some. Definitely some fuel. It does start, but it's not running very well. So we're pretty sure that it's coming down to this, to the gas tanks. Looks like, because we've got a filter on there, you can see the filter, it's full of crap. It's got lots and lots of crap in there, so that doesn't look good. So can't imagine there's much fuel flow going on. So we defo need to sort that out. Let's get this off. This is the point where we realise we left the tap on the whole bloody time or something like that. Pretty sure we haven't. But, if you hear lots of bowel language, and it's dry. Dry as a bone. Slightly smaller. Okay, right, let's put that on. I'm going to run this into the jerry can. And I'll pop the tap. Oh, hello. Well, it's just cannoning out, isn't it? Ah, right, so it might mean that if it is rust, it's actually blocked the tap, which would definitely explain why it's not running very well. Okay, so plan B, before we move the tank, we're now siphoning the bulk of it out, which obviously means I've now got the sweet, sweet taste of gasoline in my mouth, which is fair made my day. Stuff. Yeah, I need to lay off, man. I feel like Barney Grumble. I love you, man! Oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? Well, I've got a siphoner, but of course the siphoner is currently in New York. Because why wouldn't it be? Attached to the Thunder. So just undoing, we've got 4 bolts. Again, it's a metric. You get a weird mix of metric and imperial on this bike, being French. It's just 4 bolts underneath that hold it in place. And there's a balance pipe which is just taken off. Which of course, man, we've got petrol all over us, but there you go, there's a balance pipe. So now, a tank should be there to mobile. There we are. And we're just going to be very careful, because obviously you scratch it, knock a hole in it or something, coming out the bars there, because the bars do sit very low to it. It's easiest as we get the seat off, or we can lift it just past the seat if you're lucky. But we'll take it off in a sec. Okay, so it's lifted off, you can see the bolts underneath, and there's the frame engine exposed in all its glory. There you go, look at that. Modern carburetor, I'm going to take that off, give it a good old clean up. Other than that, there isn't a lot can go wrong with these bikes, really, to be honest, and it's just...
Not a lot to them.
Well, exactly, I mean, that's the thing, you know, a modern bike, you've got so many bits that could possibly fail, sensors, and, you know, smart generatory things, and this is none of that stuff, really. You know, it's got a battery on for the lighting, but it's not essential. It's a lovely tank on these. It's looking a little bit worse for wear. Just needs a little bit of touch up with some modern paint.
I'd say patina.
Patina's a good word. I like patina. Right, let's take it outside. We'll empty the last bit out. Yeah. So here's our Mahusive modern carburetor. We're just going to do that, leave the slide, take it out, and we're going to give it a good clean up. We'll ultrasonically clean this, I think, because it looks like it's going to need it.
I can see your hands anyway.
Pull that off. That's just a feeder pipe. That's got the. You see, that's a feeder pipe. It's got the filter, which is cacked up. Put that down there, and a bit of a breather going on there. This should just slide out now. There's the slider, which is quite a little bit stiff. There's the choke part, there's the main slide, which is tiny. Tiny main slide, look at that, it's really minute, isn't it? It's basically the same thing you would fit to a moped, you know, of modern 50. Because to be honest, the performance of this, although it's 250, is about the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just pull off.
50.
This is pulled straight off. Straight off. Breather pipe going down there for the overflow, just take that off. There we are. Carburetor's out, and then we look inside into the choke and the thing. There we are. It's minute. You couldn't even get your little finger down it. I mean, we could probably go for slightly bigger carb on this, get slightly more power, but we get such smooth, such sweet running from it. Then we'll load 20 pounds. We'd have a slightly bigger carb on it. It just wouldn't. It just ran horribly. And it's been running so nicely on this carb that I'm in no rush to go mucking around with things. You know, if something's running, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. So I am not going to be mucking around with this at all, except giving it a clean, and we'll put it straight back on. Because to be honest, it was a cheap Chinese carburetor. It cost me just a few pounds, and it's worked very, very well thus far.
Bit wet?
Yeah, it is a bit wet, isn't it? So I've got back to my shed now. Here's the tank upturning. It's not especially rust, it's a bit of surface rust, but it's not too bad. The tap is blocked. I'm going to put these back. I'm going to leave it on for now though. I'm going to clean it out afterwards. I'm going to put the balance pipe back off. I'm going to turn it over and fill the whole thing with Evapo-Rust to get rid of the rust. Because there is some rust on the inside. It's not terrible, but it's certainly been enough to block the tank. You probably can't see it. So
yeah, shall I try and close up? I don't know.
I need a phone.
Hold on. Yeah, let's try then.
So you can see there certainly is a bit. It's a bit rusty in there. So we'll put the Evapo-Rust in, leave it filled up with the balance pipes in, leave it for however long it's supposed to leave it. So at least 24-48 hours. Come back to it and see where we are. Hopefully then have a nice clean tank inside. Hopefully. Yeah, it's full of sludge and all sorts of nasty. That certainly explains why that wasn't that's any fuel for it. It's blocked, well and truly blocked with bits of detritus. So before we sort this out, I'm going to put it back on, put the balance pipe back on so this is all buttoned up. Once I've done that, we'll turn it over and we'll put the Evapo-Rust in and we'll get cracking then. Tweet and won't be leaking everywhere. Getting on a bit better. So the balance pipe simply is the way it says in the tin. Because you've got two halves of the tank with a big ridge in the middle, it ensures that the fuel level, you don't end up with one side of the tank empty, which of course would always, sod's law dictate there was a tank with a tap on it, and one side where it's sloshed full, so you can't rely on the fuel just tipping over while you're riding along. So this balances them out. It's as simple as that really. Last time we emptied this thing out, I remember I had to put a pipe cleaner down this because it was so blocked. And we'll probably have to do that again, but we shall see. It does tend to furr up, so we'll have to run a bit of wire down just to clear it out, but we'll do that once we've got the tank sorted out. So we'll do the tank first, I think. Pretty much emptied, not much fuel, there's a tiny drop in there possibly, but it looks pretty dry in there now, and most of it's evaporated.
And everything's tight underneath.
Yep, so it's Evapo-Rust time, I think. So, this is the Evapo-Rust. We are not advertising Evapo-Rust, there's nothing paid for it. We paid for it, but I do want to see if this stuff works. I'm really hoping it does, because we will need it in other projects. I bought it because we're also going to need it for our project bike later. So basically this is going to swallow all of this. So we've got 10 litres, which hopefully should fill this little sucker up.
Can't see anything leaking.
Yeah, I'm just making sure the tap's closed.
Oh yeah.
You know, you think, because the tap's blocked, you kind of think, oh.
Oh, it smells strong.
Is it?
You can smell it from here.
I can't smell anything. What does it smell of?
You definitely know it's chemical smell,
Oh, right.
unless it's mixing with a bit of petrol.
You're probably smelling the
It's
old
in the
petrol,
base.
you know.
Yeah, I can definitely smell something.
Yeah. The great thing about this stuff, they reckon it's drinkable. I'm not so sure I was.
Well, you can try it
honest.
first.
No, it's okay. And it's also reusable. You can use it a bunch of times. All you got to do is drain it back out, and you can use it all
Well, you
over
can see the
again.
weight, it's weighing it down a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's 5 kilos, isn't it? Yeah. But my funnel's getting slightly blocked. Should have filled the tank yet. It's not even like that. It's not going in very quick. Just give it a wiggle. That's better. Right. Yeah. Is that some sort of
Hold on,
particles in it?
Do you want
No, a Twizzly stick.
yeah.
Maybe.
Perhaps there is.
Yeah, there's some sort of particles. It's blocking the. There's a filter on the bottom of this. It's a strainer. It's blocking a little bit. Strainer, okay now. Nice clear liquid. It won't be clear when it's done this time. It'll be red.
You don't think you want that bit in, do you?
No. That's the first tank. I think this holds about 10 or 12 litres, so it will probably swallow all of this rather neatly. Nearly full.
Is it nearly full?
Yeah, it's going to fill. It's quite a small tank on these. Problem with these older bikes, particularly things like saddle tanks, so there wasn't much room. There's a reason. I mean, anything with a flat tank, there's not a lot of room. That's why they went to saddle tank to make more room. So when they went to overhead valves, there just wasn't enough room to get a decent sized gas tank in. So I think initially people didn't go very far on them anyway, because in the early days they probably break down if they're too far from home anyway.
It's draining all right now.
Yeah, it's draining through okay.
You see it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, can't really see it. There's not a lot to see. It's just, I mean, it just looks like water really. Hopefully it won't been conned and just been sent, really mineral water or something. Even though it's got a chemical smell, I can smell nothing.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can.
I've got a sensitive nose now.
Yeah, very sensitive, aren't you? I reckon I'll probably do it actually.
Yeah?
So, we'll have a look at the instructions. We've got to leave it at least, I mean really as long as possible I think. The best way to use it.
Now you read the instructions.
We've got to, yeah. Well, I know where to tip it in. We've got to rinse it out, drain it and rinse it out probably before we've got any more petrol, I know that. A lot of people will just jet wash.
What are you going to rinse it out with? Does it say it needs anything?
Previous items require extended soak times up to 24 hours, so it doesn't need too long, so we should. This isn't that rusty, so.
But does it recommend anything for rinsing it out after?
No, they just rinse it out. I think
So
a lot of people just use water, yeah.
Okay.
And then we could use water and then just dry it out with our handy elephant dryer, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
Remember the animal dryer?
Yeah.
Right, use that thing. But I've used that to dry this tank out. For last year I set the bike out and drained all the tank and then blasted it through with that stuff. And it worked pretty damn well, I'd say. Okay, what's next? Oh, here with the carburetor. And with this thing, obviously because there's been a lot of rust coming out of the tank, it may well have blocked the jets. So what we'll do is we'll take the float chamber off and we're going to stick it into the carb cleaner, give it a good clean out. Quite easy to do on this because it's so small. There's not much to do in it really. So the screws at the bottom, it's the float chamber obviously. Now, it's not been flooded, it's not had fuel going through to it. It may have, I wouldn't be surprised if there was debris actually in the bottom of the float chamber here, to be honest. Quite surprised there wasn't almost, to be honest. Let's drop these out actually. It's kind of revolutionised the Terrot, this thing, because the Terrot was always giving trouble. And I bought this carb for like 20 quid off eBay, I think it was. You know, it was not advertised on eBay, but it was just dirt cheap. It's a cheap Chinese carb. intended for a moped.
I was just going to say, what was it supposed to
Yeah, I think it's intended for like a 50cc. You can see how small. You can't even get your finger through the chair. It's so small. With the, the Venturi, it's really small. So there we go.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad. It's a funny colour. I'll say that. So okay. So what we'll do. That's the overflow. So that's. I'm sorry. All I did was just blow through that because this pipe interconnects with that, and I can confirm.
It's blocked.
It's not blocked. No, could you hear the?
Yeah.
I was there going through. That means it wasn't blocked. So put that in the drink. There we go. We'll give it a bit of an ultrasonic. And what we'll probably do is take some of these off. Give all this a clean as well. So there's the hinge, if you like, for the float. There's the float. There's some bits of debris around here, I think. It's not bad. I mean, it could be that the problems were mostly caused by the fact that the blooming thing had got no fuel going through to it.
Are you putting that in the ultrasonic bath?
Yeah, I might take the jets off.
Yeah, are you going to take that rubber seal? Or can that go in?
No, it can go in. It doesn't do any harm.
Okay.
It doesn't damage anything like that. So, trying to unscrew the jets. Thing is, don't go mad with these. They're quite delicate. If you, it's coming out anyway. It's coming out as a whole. Now, ideally, you want that to come out, be able to separate those two out. There we go. So, any of those little pores are blocked. It's not going to work properly. Just trying to separate these two out carefully. So, there we go. That's it. So I put them in separately. It's a good idea to remember which bit screws into which. Usually they won't fit in anything else. You can't really screw this up. This is your main jet, and obviously the flow of fuel is affected this by the needle jet, which is that's the main jet, which might well be slightly blocked. We'll give them a clean. Drop them into there. So this works with the float. The float's got a little plunger on it, just there. You can see that there. That goes in the hole there and just stops it. It's like a stopcock on your toilet. Then. There we go. I mean, basically, if you've got to be very careful pulling these out because it's so easy to trash the carburetor. Drop that in there. Separately. There is a bit of debris in there actually. A little bit. Yeah. Not massive, but a little bit.
So
I don't know if I can get the whole lot in. Probably will get a lot in actually. Just try and sink that a bit. Might have to turn them over a bit.
okay.
And
Okay.
here's just the time. We'll take it quite a long time.
Yeah.
Give a long turn, move things around a little bit, and then do it again, and then reassemble. Right, let's fish them out, see what we got. So it looks kind of the same, but it has pulled quite a bit of rubbish out of there. Well, it just definitely looks shinier there, doesn't it? Look at that. There's definitely some corrosion going on, isn't there?
Age, really, isn't it?
Not very old, but it's very cheap. I'm just blowing out to check its painting. Obviously, there are more scientific ways of doing that, but hey.
You like the old-fashioned way, don't you?
I am old-fashioned. I'm old.
You're old.
Well, the old-fashioned way is probably doing it right, really. Let's just screw that into there. Yeah, it's alright in there. Not too bad. I mean, as far as we're aware, the thing was functioning okay anyway. We don't think
it wasn't. Yeah.
We think the problem was really down to the tap. Let's get this tiny jet out. So just check this tiny jet. Just have a little look. Make sure there's light passing through it. So
see the light.
Yeah, the hole in these is really fine. And this, it's a tiny jet. Just fits there.
Let's look. Where did you put it?
It just goes there.
Okay.
It's a tiny little fellow. Mistake about that. So it's so small. The hole in it is smaller. And again, you're just going to snug this down. You don't want it undoing. Yeah, you don't want to go mad. Right, there's the needle. There's that. and get the jet floats and back out, and a little plug. Okay. We'll reassemble the main jet, just screw that back in. And the thing to remember is, do not do these up very tight. Do not go mad, and they've got to be done up. Not going mad. That's more than enough. That's plenty. If you ever do these next time, you won't be able to undo it. The thread will strip, and you'll be in problems. Main jet goes in there. Screw that down. Screw that in. That's enough. And then we've just got the float to float jets to block. So we'll just put that back in. That goes there. Obviously this corresponds to the float. That's your little stock car. Like that. Now I've got to reassemble the float, so I'll just put that down there. There's your little needle. Obviously all this does is it stops fuel from just continually chundering into the engine.
Very dainty though, isn't it?
They are very dainty. They're a bit of a pain. So just hook on there. Need the little axle. It's very dainty, this car, isn't it? We've been so small, it's a beggar to work on. So put a little axle in just a little bit of the way. Just enough. You can see that's gone into there.
You just got to.
It's got to get there.
Have your third hand.
Yeah, it's
Do you want me to hold the base?
no, it's alright.
Sure?
Yeah, it's going in. There we go. There we go. Right, okay.
Ah.
You can see there's a sort of a little needle inside that. Can you see it opening and closing?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
moving just right
Yes, hold that close.
inside there. If you can see it in there.
No.
Float bar on. You want to try and keep this that way around so it doesn't drop off. Just slide that back in. Should be free to move. Should move really smoothly.
I'll let me come away a bit. It's kind of a bit blurry.
Float should move. Yeah, float should move really smoothly.
Yeah.
This one does. So chamber. This something like just drops onto there. The float bowl. So just tighten up the float bowl. Again, this is just aluminium or aluminum. If you're an American and can't say things correctly. Well, there's a U in it. I'm not backing down on that one. Right, screw these down.
We're saying things wrong.
Don't be ridiculous. We're English.
I'm only being neutral.
No, there's no neutrality here. So, screw these screws up. Again, you don't want to go mad on these. It's just soft aluminium. If you go screwing the thing up ridiculously hard, then all you're going to get is you're going to warp this. And your float bowl will leak. And then you'll think, oh, we shouldn't do that so tight. And then, of course, you'll come to undo the thing next time. And it will have none of it.
You cannot do it.
Nope, she can't take it, Captain. There we are, there's the car. We've just got the slide and the choke to go back onto there. Hose,
So it's
overflow
copper to
hose.
copper.
It's copper to copper, so is that
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Well, that's really loose actually.
Maybe the other way around then. Swap it right way
I
round.
might just trim it off. It might just be that it's expanded. Yeah, if that's kind of loose, I might. Because you know, it's got a. It might want cutting down for this. It's got a bit
burnt a bit,
toasty, isn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, I'll cut it back a little bit. Other than that, that's the carb ready to go. Tank, not so much, but hopefully by tomorrow
Oh, it's working well,
it'll
that
be
stuff.
perfect. Yeah. See how it is tomorrow, and we'll put it back on the bike. Thanks. So in the blink of an eye, 24 hours or near enough have passed. So it's time to get this stuff, the Evapo-Rust, out of the tank. Now there's one thing I really want to try. I've got the siphon tube in there, going down into a foam filter, and then into the container again, because you can reuse this stuff. But there's something I really want to try. I don't really want to do the traditional suck on the tube to get a mouthful of rusty fluid. But there is something you can try. If you cover over and blow air down onto the top of the tank, if you cover it over, it's said that the air pressure will push it down and start the siphoning. So I think we should give that a go. What do you reckon, Tom?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know either. Right, so let's give it a go. We have air filled. Oh, that was the worst thing. Good thing is though, it's actually only a little bit came out, so it wasn't as bad as it looked. Most of it's still in there, and it's siphoning like a son of a bitch now. That really worked. So, although it looked messy, because I didn't have my hand over it very well, it works. So you need to siphon a petrol tank, Tom. You know that's a runner, don't we?
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure put a hand over. Actually didn't spill as much as you think, it's only a few drops really. It looked really spectacular, didn't it? But it's only a little bit. Most of it's still in the tank. Except now, because most of you can hear it gallop, it's absolutely galloping out. So it did work really well. I'm quite impressed with that. And it was kind of fun.
If you say so.
Kind of fun and spectacular. So it's kind of got everything going for it. It was kind of fun. I quite enjoyed doing that. Although yeah, my hands got wet, that's about it though. But yeah, it works.
Thumbs up.
Woo! Big thumbs up from us. Right, let's drain this out and then we'll see what we've got. We've got to drain it, rinse it out of water and dry it. We'll use the dryer again to dry the whole sucker out when we're done. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Okay, so we've siphoned most of it out now. Still got to, there's still some at the bottom. Still got to empty that out. And to be fair, it's actually been a few days longer than we originally anticipated. It was going to be 24 hours. It's been really 72 hours, and I can see, I don't think you can see in there's quite a difference. So this stuff definitely does work. So we're going to empty the last of it out, and then, well, rinse it and dry it. Yeah. Okay, now got to rinse what's left out. Obviously we've now rinsed it out with water. Basically you just keep rinsing it out until the water comes out clear and there's no brown, no rust left in it. So obviously we can't leave the traces of water left in the tank, so now just have to use my big hair dryer thing to dry it out. So I'm going to dry it thoroughly inside now. I think you can see in there a bit. It's pretty much dry now in there, I think. Leave it a little bit long to leave it to stand to dry fully. But you can see there's very little rust in there. That's pretty good. Awful lot better than it did before. So it's just a matter of reassembly now, get it back on the bike. Okay, so it's nice and dry inside now. It looks pretty good actually. Did notice slight weeping around here, so going to use some of this patch up stuff to try and seal it. Also the tap, well, the tap is blocked, so we're going to have a look in there, and I'm sure it's just full of rust debris. On the right side, the crosspipe, which often does block, I managed to blast through with air, and it's alright now. It's flowing okay, so that's it. There's nothing in there, that's absolutely fine. So just to roll it on your fingers basically until it's mixed. So there's grey and white particles in that. It's all going to be uniform when it's mixed. It's going to harden then. It's like rolling a bogey, kind of. That's something like, it doesn't look incredible, but hidden under the yoke here, you can't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. There we go. Okay. Don't really know where the tap is blocked. I imagine it's going to be this end, so I'm going to unscrew it, screw this bolt, and see, because I definitely think I can see debris in there. Can't see a lot going on there, just debris. And also there, so it's blocked at both ends, isn't it? Silicone blasted out with a GT85. There we go. That's clean. Right, let's just try and push it out of this with a wire. Should be the trick. Oh, there we go. Victory at last. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. There we go, look at that. I don't know about you, I think we'll have to get some petrol through to the engine this time. You can even see light passing through it. Bloody marvellous. Okay, that's tight enough. Go flow. Flow. Perfect. There we go. Just put a plumber's tape on here. Don't know how well it'll work in the presence of ethanol, but it does help get it sealed in the meantime. This, just going to put this on loose because it's got to come off because the frame goes here. This has got to go on as you put it in the frame, but for the interest of safe transport, and mainly so we don't lose the damn thing, I'm just going to put it on loosely. For now. So, fuel tank's all patched up now. Time to reinsert it on the bike. Okay, so the seat's just held on with 2 bolts. So one bolt, there's a bolt that just goes through there and it also holds the tank and the battery box in place. You can see how skimpy and bicycle-like the frame is on these machines. And the tank just sits there. It's got 4 bolts come off it that sit into the holes here that you can see. Good thing about the bike, design on this bike is that the gear change doesn't mount directly onto the tank, it mounts onto this frame. And a lot of bikes must run in the tank, so to remove the tank, you don't have to do anything with that, you can just lift the tank off. Yeah, nice and straight. Tight fit these things. There she goes. There we go. Back on, sitting on the rubber on the mounts. Lovely, so we'll just bolt it up in a second and assemble the bike and hopefully fill up with fuel and she'll run. Here's those bolts now. One's actually missing. One there, and there, and there. We've just got to put the nuts and washers on. So the bolts are on hand tight. You don't want to go mad with these. They're sitting on rubber. You're just going to compress the rubber. So it's going to be just tight enough. You're not going to go mad with it. Doesn't do any good in the long run. You might split the tank because the rubber isn't going to be working as effectively. So this is one of those occasions where going steady when it comes to doing the nuts up is definitely the way to go. Right, so the one left thing to do now on the underside is to attach the balance pipe. And to do that I'm going to put a little bit of sealant on the threads either side. Just screw it on, and it's just put them on there just to help seal it a little bit, because it can be prone to leak a little bit of petrol, and I don't think petrol leaking out of the hot engine is really good idea. Oh, so you see the sealant there. So this just goes on like that. You see there's a kink in it to wrap it around the frame, so you've got no doubt about which way it goes on. You can't get it wrong really. So go that way, it ain't going to reach. So it can only go that way. Right, just got to reattach the carb now. So the slide is still already attached with the choke. Fit that on first, and I'll slide it onto the intake. About as simple as it gets, just two little screws just hold it in place there. Now, there we go. Keep it as level as we can. Shove the overflow pipe in, just goes in there. Okay. Tighten it up a bit. Nice. Okay. Rather sensible on this bike. We put a fuel filter in with a magnet to catch any rust. Well, hopefully there won't be any now. Just got to pop that onto the tap here, and the other end there is just going to go into the other side of the exhaust. Put the spring material there actually is to try and protect it a little bit from the heat of the engine. It runs right behind the engine. Right, it's time to put the old fuel back in. Don't worry, I'm going to filter it through a strainer, so I'm not just going to dump the rusty old fuel in, because it's probably got some metal particles in it. I'm going to try and catch those out with a filter. So what were our conclusions about the Evapo-Rust? Well, it certainly worked. It perhaps didn't work quite as well as I expected it to be honest. Although maybe my expectations were a little bit unrealistic. But the system definitely does work, and the rust was certainly removed from the tank, and what was coming out of the tank afterwards looked pretty much pristine. There was no rust in it at all. On the negative side, the Evapo-Rust is quite expensive. To fill even the relatively small tank on the Terrot cost us around £70 in Evapo-Rust. There are cheaper alternatives, of course. Vinegar is one that's commonly used. The problem with vinegar is it's much more caustic, and it does attack the good metal in the tank as well. So if you've got a bike this old, it could turn it into a colander by the time you've finished. But it does work. Molasses is another one that's commonly brought up. Again, this is effective, and it is considerably slower than the Evapo-Rust, but it is an option if you're on a budget and you've got plenty of time on your hands. The great thing about the Evapo-Rust is it's definitely effective and it's reusable. And we've got other projects we're going to need it for soon, so it seemed like the best choice for us. So in conclusion, definitely effective. The fact that it's reusable offsets the price somewhat too, so would we recommend it? On balance, I'd have to say yes. Well, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, thank you very much for watching.